Uh, oh yeah, let's do this one. Okay. Ooh, let's look. It's all like bogging here. Oh, let's see. Be good. Good enough. I'm just in my office here in Newport, guys. It's fine. You can only see a window. It's fine. If anything, it's actually kind of nice. It's like doing a nice lighting effect. It's nice. It's fine. Glad you enjoy it. Love you. Have fun.
Hey, Lauren.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Let me turn on my camera. Hey there.
How's it going?
Doing good. How about you?
I'm good. I like your little, is this your studio?
This is studio / office. This is my wife. There's Jill.
Hi, how's it going?
Good.
Like your
Studio
background.
/ office / gift wrapping room, treadmill, pretty much everything.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we've all had to make little studios out of our houses and whatnot. I think everybody's had to do that because everything's so virtual now.
Yep, which is not a bad thing. I enjoy it.
I know. I'm a little concerned because I took my laptop and forgot to bring my charger.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So I was like, oh gosh, like I am on like 20% battery. I hope I don't lose my battery in the middle of this presentation. But Jamie, I figure if I do, I can jump on my phone, right?
Yeah, just jump on your phone and
yeah,
I can kill some time if that happens.
Yeah, so if there's like a moment of where'd Lauren go? That's what happened, and I'll just jump on with my phone.
Yep. And I'm gonna pull up. I need to pull up your bio real quick.
Yeah, no worries. So the group's called REI Live, right?
Yes. REI Live. I don't know if you've done any of our other groups. Brandon Barnes is in Atlanta. What's her name in Orlando?
Are they all called REI Live?
Yeah. So Brian Tripp started in he started in Birmingham. So we're in Orlando, Atlanta, here.
Gotcha. I thought I'd heard of that before, so that's where I was like I know that sounds familiar.
Yeah, you probably have. We've obviously real close with Wholesaling Inc. and Tom. He kind of helped start some of this. So, all in the family.
Well, good. How many participants usually have been joining on these Zoom calls?
So the Facebook group has about 1,000 members. So, this will save and keep going there. But each time we do this live thing, we've had about 60 to 75 maybe in there.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, and I try to get them to interact and throw some questions out there at you, which is helpful for people.
For sure.
So we hope to get some of those.
Yeah.
And it'll be broadcast Facebook to Facebook Live, and I'll just be monitoring that for questions and either throw them at you at the end or whenever it fits in your spiel.
Yeah, that works. And then how long does it typically go for me?
10, 15, 20, 30 minutes. No,
okay.
30 minutes is probably too long. Probably 20.
Oh, okay. It's not too long. Okay. Yeah, no, the only reason I ask is I have to kind of be out by like in 1 hour from now. I got to go pick up my kids.
That's perfect. We like shut it off at 7 because nobody wants to sit here for more than an hour.
For sure. Yeah. Okay. That's totally good. That's fine with me.
So what I'll do is I just kind of talk about the local market for a quick minute, go over some MLS stats. There's like 3 graphs I like to share. And then I'll kick it over to you. So yeah, you'll be going about, you'll be going in like 15 minutes. And then when you shut it, when you're done, that's fine. And then we'll do questions. And by 7, it's like a hard stop. I'm like, bye guys.
I love that. I need to figure out how to do that for my coaching calls. Like, all right, guys,
Yeah.
it's 3 hours. Let's cut it.
That's it. We're done.
We're done. Cool.
No more.
If you were like at one point, I don't know, do I finish it off at 7, or is it going to be like you're going to be done with me and then I can leave to go pick up my kids and then you have other stuff?
No, like I'm going to turn the camera off at 7, but you can leave like, I'll have like an outro where I'll just kind of remind people if they have questions or whatever later.
Sure.
But when we're done with the QA, I'll just say, you're good,
Yeah. Let me know, like, all right, Lauren, you can go pick up your kids now.
Yeah, I'll do that once
Yeah.
Q&A is done, or at least around 10 till, probably something like that.
All right, cool.
So just introduction, real estate investor, people first approach, we'll make sure to put that in, virtual investor. We have had some people ask about spec building and trying to make money with new builds. I don't know if you want to talk about that or you want to stick to wholesaling.
I mean, I'm primarily wholesaling right now, but I did do it in Nashville, so I can, talk about it a bit. Yeah.
There'll be some people that will probably ask questions.
I don't usually get asked that question a lot, so that'll be fun.
Yep. Cool. So I'll run through your intro and then kick it over to you.
Cool.
All right. So do you have a PowerPoint or something?
No.
Okay. So I won't share the screen at all then.
Yeah, we're good.
Perfect. All right. So I'm going to go live right now. Let me remember how to do this. So I'm going to go live on my personal page and tag you. That way any of your followers or anybody like that can pick it up there.
Oh, okay, cool. I'll check it and see if if it's streaming on my page yet. Does it stream on my page or no?
Maybe if you're tagged, I guess it will.
Yeah.
If not, you can go and share it.
Okay.
All right. Are we friends on Facebook?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I know a friend requested you today to try to do this.
I am so bad with my Facebook. I don't even know, where do I go to see my friend requests? See, friends, they changed the platform.
Oh, it's terrible.
They've changed it all the time. I can't keep up. Okay, Andrew, what's your last name?
Lucas.
I don't see you.
Tag her.
Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, I found you. Yeah, they just changed their platform, so like the way everything looks.
Can you, when I get going, will you just go tag her on this? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, from my personal. All right. And then will you share it into REI Live? All right. Let's see. I think we are live on Facebook right now. If I can get somebody to give me a thumbs up, give me a high five or a hello, let me know that you see me in Facebook land, and then we'll get started on that. We are live on my Andrew Lucas's wall, as well as we're sharing this into REI Live. So the REI Live Columbia group, if you want to ask questions, please join in there to ask your questions. All right, that's just going to make it a lot easier for us to just keep an eye on the questions. So give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you see me. And can you see it over there? Mm-hmm. All right, we're good. Guys, REI Live Columbia, thank you for joining us. This is another virtual event. The name REI Live might change to REI Virtual here real soon if we keep up with this COVID stuff. But we are here talking today with Miss Lauren Hardy from San Diego, all the way from California, but she specializes in virtual investing. So we're super excited about that. I'm going to share with you my PowerPoint, just a quick presentation on our local market real quick, and then we'll ask Lauren to join us in just a second. So let me share my screen. All right, so we have today just the REI Live Columbia, just a little bit about who we are and what to expect from us as your networking and education hub here in South Carolina, the Midlands region of South Carolina especially, but anywhere around this area, you can look to us for education and networking and deal opportunities. Normally, this would be the place where we would talk about any deals. We would talk about anything in the room, anything in our network. This opportunity, I want you guys to put it in the comments. If you have a deal, a super screaming wholesale deal or a flip opportunity, put it in the comments. Let us know about it. Let your friends and peers know about it, because people watching this are going to be buyers. All right. So put that in there if you're trying to sell, or if you need lending, if you have lending needs, if you need to borrow money or you want to lend money, put that in there as well. Anything that you think might be beneficial for the network, put it in the comments and we'll network that way today. All right. This is who we are here in Columbia. So REI Live Columbia. Freedom Finders is our private coaching program. It is small and limited. We don't really push that too much. But what you will see mostly from us is Lucas Properties and Columbia Cash Home Buyers. That would be our investing arm, flipping arm, and then our wholesaling business. You might be getting all your emails from Bishop nowadays. Bishop is really rocking it for us. You will also hear from us and us as a business and a family that we will honor God, serve others, and be good stewards of our resources. So we seek to do that here in REI Live as well. I do want to make sure that when you come to REI Live, when you watch these videos, whether you're watching it live or the recording later, or when we get back together, that you come here with an agenda, that you actually know why you're here. You have a reason for being in attendance. And these are just some suggestions and some of the reasons why I get together with other peers and other investors, because I might want to buy a house, buy a rental, sell a house, flip a contract, any of those things. When we come together, we have an agenda for the meeting. When you come to the meetings and the events and these opportunities here, I want you to know why you're here and put that to work. If you're looking for some help in wholesaling, then pay attention, take notes, and get the help you need. All right. So have an agenda. Don't just come here just to watch. All right, guys, don't have analysis paralysis. Get to work and learn from what we're going to hear today from Lauren and put it into practice. Okay. What you can expect from us, I kind of gave you some expectations that we want you to have. What you could expect from us is that we are education-driven group. We get together and it's all about trying to teach and train and pass on experience to other investors, trying to really make real estate investing more open to our community and help others that are here that have ideas or have aspirations to get involved, show them how to do it. So we were obviously rely on experts, Lauren being one of those from all the way across the country. And we talk about wholesaling, rehabbing, lending, agent sales, everything. We will bring keynote speakers from all over the country, but also local. We bring local experts in as well. So real quick, just our upcoming events. Obviously, some of those are past, but we still have 3 more this year, and we do hope to get live. We will. We're actually looking for October to be live but smaller. So we will send out a required RSVP, and we will cap the number of people allowed in the room. Obviously, that's just what it takes to get things done right now. All right. So just snap that picture, write those down if you need to. And the one before Christmas, that will probably just be fun. All right, so I do want to throw a shout out to our sponsors. Without our sponsors, we wouldn't be able to do all this and get all this together. I have a new shirt from Custom Embroidery. Steve, thanks, I appreciate it. They do an awesome job for all of our marketing things that we put out there. So thank you guys for that. Each one of these on this page, guys, they are local and they are working in our business with us. So I want to just throw them out there. If you have any questions, have any needs, reach out to them or me, and I can help you out with that. And then some of our networking sponsors and things that we use in our business, these are all here. If you are active real estate investor, you've probably already seen these names. You may even already use these businesses and companies. But what I'll tell you is that each one of these, we have a negotiated deal. We get you some of the best pricing for all of these. We do leverage our contacts within the REI Live network, and we get some of the best deals here. And the cool thing is, if you sign up under the REI Live discounts, you get me to help you walk through this. So I get to help you set these systems up for you. So if you need any of these coupon codes, they're on our website, or you can email me. All right, so REI Live Columbia, we are focused on the local, but we also bring in national education and tactics. All right, so I really want to get a little local right here before we get going. And I wanted to show you guys, and I'm not looking at the comments, so I'll get to those in a second, but average days on market. This is a incredible graph. It tells you a lot. If you look at this, even though you might be, if you watch too much news, you might be scared, right? And it's very scary watching all that news. But if you look at this graph, if you look at these details, this shows you that the real estate market is still moving and it's going quite well. It's going in the right direction, right? So average days on market for closed deals is now under a few days under 50 days of closed deals. That's really good. If you look back last September, no COVID, it was above 50. It was quite a bit above 50. So big change. Things are going in the right direction. So a little positive note there. This is median prices for the Columbia MLS. And this is obviously some kind of glitch. I wouldn't take that into consideration. But if you just kind of go with the trend line, the median is trending up. The average is trending as well up. So as those days on market go down, supply goes down, prices are going to push up. So right now, I mean, if you guys had asked me back on March, 15th, when they shut the economy down, what would I think was going to happen with prices and inventory, I would not have guessed this. I would have guessed at least a little bit of down push. So I'd say this is positive. And then market absorption, obviously those two other graphs kind of paint the same picture, that we only have about 2 months of market of inventory on the market. So again, when the flips are going out there, they're getting sold. When the rental units are going for sale, they're getting sold. When the houses that are as is and not perfect condition, they're also getting sold. So guys, if you're looking to get into investing, if you're looking to put something on the market, I would say now's the time. I wouldn't wait. I would get into it and start going. So I'm going to jump over and see if there were any questions. No questions? Thank you. Michelle's next to me, guys. So before we jump in and let Lauren take over, I do want to remind you, put a comment, say hello, make sure we know you're here. Meredith is going to take roll and get email addresses and make sure everyone is here, that we know who they are, because we're still giving away that iPad for if you just show up 4 times in the last 6 months. And so all you have to do is do that and get entered into a drawing for the iPad. And I am going to also send out anyone that gets a question in. We got some new sweet notebooks, REI Live. So if you guys get a question in, we will get those notebooks to you to put your REI Live notes in. All right. So I'm super excited to introduce to you Lauren Hardy now, and make sure to put your questions in the comments as they come to your mind, because what I'm going to do is go back through them, and when we have time at the end to do some Q&A. If you're watching us on my page or Lauren's page, jump into REI Live group, jump into the group, just click in and ask to join. You'll get in and put your comments or questions in there, so we'll catch it. All right. So without further ado, let me stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to bring in Lauren. And Lauren, thank you so much for being here. Guys, I'll tell you a little bit about her as an investor, a primarily virtual investor in markets all across the country, really far away from her hometown. But she does have a people first mentality, a people first approach, which really gels with our approach is the customer service approach. We really want to make sure we help our clients. So I really like the way she runs her business as well. She's done all kinds of things from spec building to renovations, and obviously right now focused on the wholesaling model and virtual, of course. She does have 2 kids at home. So we are going to cut off right at 7 or a few minutes before, because she's got to go pick them up. I don't know what time that is, probably 3 o'clock your time, but 7 o'clock our time. So she's over in Southern California doing deals all across the country. I'll let her fill in those details. So Lauren, thank you so much for being here and sharing with REI Live. I know that they're going to get a bunch from this. So I'll throw it over to you.
Well, what's up, REI Live community? My name is Lauren Hardy, and I am here in Orange County, California. Andrew, you're right. I'm a virtual investor. So I don't know how familiar you guys are with Orange County real estate, but it's pretty up there as far as national averages go. I think the average house price here is about $750,000. So yeah, it's pretty up there. So I did originally start, I was a fix and flipper. I started about 8 years ago, flipping in my backyard. There was still quite a bit of seller distress, so I was still able to do that. As time went on, as the market started improving, the deals became more difficult to find, and I had to pivot. I had to find another market to do, flip houses in, because it was very, very difficult to find my next project. So by necessity, I was forced to go virtual, and my first virtual market was Nashville, Tennessee. There wasn't very much thought put into it, other than Nashville sounds like a fun place to visit, and I like the South. So I started there. I started in spec building, and I flipped some homes. Then I got into volume wholesaling. I felt that going virtual wholesaling was an easier thing to tackle, easier business model, not having to chase down contractors from across the country. So I fell in love with the wholesaling model when it comes to being virtual when you can't be there. I will always love being a house flipper, and if deals come back here in California and they're easier to come by, I will absolutely get back to flipping. Now I focus on Midwestern markets. I love that. That's kind of my sweet spot. I'm, volume wholesaling. We're primarily, our end user is typically a landlord type buyer. And we are very niche. We're very focused. So yeah, that's it. We're doing it from across the country. We close deals all over the phone. We don't see homes. We put houses under contract over the phone without seeing them, without inspections. So yeah, that's, a little bit about what my business is all about. And I'm happy to be here and very honored to, be invited to your guys' virtual meeting. Uh-oh, I can't hear you. You're on mute.
Sorry, I muted myself so I can make notes over here. So that's awesome. When did you say you started in Orange County? When were the deals there?
So I started 8 years ago. So it was like recession, Yeah, there was a ton of seller distress. There was still trustee sales going on. I mean, now there's nothing being auctioned. So yeah, it was a great time to be a house flipper. You could, send out, this was a time where you could send out direct mail, send maybe 1,000 letters and get a deal. that would net you like $30,000-$40,000 after you flipped it. I mean, these were great times to be in this business at that time.
Wow.
But things change very quickly.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And they move fast in Orange County, I feel like. So
Right.
2012-ish, and how did you know to make that move out of your backyard? What was that like, that click?
You know, I mean, obviously it was a scary endeavor. I was getting to a point where it was costing me more money in marketing to get that one deal. So my tactic was always direct to seller marketing. I never bought off the MLS and I didn't buy off other wholesalers. I did what wholesalers do, and I went straight to the source and did the direct marketing, the direct to seller marketing myself. So I was getting really good discounts on my deals, being that there was no middleman. When it started, I started noticing that it was costing me more in seller marketing to get a deal. I knew that I keep close track of my key performance indicators. So when I noticed that it was costing me like $10,000 to get one deal, I started getting nervous. And it also became where, you know, like a couple months would go by and I wouldn't have that next flip project in the pipeline. And that was a scary time. I started to get nervous and I started looking at out of state markets. I noticed that my peers were not having as many issues as I was. I made a lot of friends, you know, in the industry through bigger pockets and, you know, just being well networked with different mastermind groups like this one. And hearing that they were not going through it the way I was going through it, they were still able to find deals and it wasn't costing them $10,000 in direct mail to do it. So I read the writing on the wall, honestly, and realized I needed to diversify a bit.
Yeah, that's one of those things that's kind of hard to do. You know, it's easy to jump into a business, but it's hard to redirect the business and completely change. So kudos to you for doing that. And Lauren, just so you know, this group, we do have a lot of active investors, but we also have a lot of new people and some people that are just getting kind of the ball rolling and really want to jump in. And KPIs, key performance indicators, are such an important piece of a business. Now, wholesalers don't have to keep KPIs, right? I mean, you probably would agree. You don't have to do that to make $30,000 on a flip or $10,000 on a fee. But if you want to make a business, you better keep track and you better keep an eye on those KPIs. So can you give me an idea? And I think there was a question here from Josh. What are those KPIs that you were tracking that made you aware of what was happening there in your market?
So there are so many KPIs that people can track. And I've done it all, I think, in 8 years. I mean, you can really drive yourself nuts with what numbers you keep track of. Like after many years of doing this, I realized that the more KPIs I keep track of, the more that KPI tracking served as a bottleneck to my business. And I was less likely to keep track of my KPIs, or I was less likely to do what actually makes us money in this business, which is talking to sellers and making offers, because I was too busy analyzing my KPIs. So I became very conscious of making my KPIs that I tracked only the most important to me and the ones that really tell you a lot about the health of your business. I like to think of these KPIs as really taking the business or the company's temperature. And from these, you can reverse engineer quite a bit to figure out where there is a problem. So for me, the most important are the 4. It's leads that you got, it's offers you've made, contracts you've got in, and deals you've closed. And from those 4, you can really tell a lot. You want to make sure with your KPIs that you define them the same. They have to be uniformly defined. So you cannot, like, for example, my definition of a lead could be different than yours, Andrew. And then you might say, well, it takes me 40 leads to get a deal. And I'm like, well, it takes me, 20. Well, what do we call a lead?
Yeah.
You know, so after years and years of doing this, I realized that if you over define a lead and you make too many qualifications to being a lead, it becomes subjective. And whenever it's subjective, then there's human error. And when you're actually trying to scale up and you're managing a staff to do these activities for you, then you have no idea really what your KPIs are, because how do you know that, Sally on the phone, she felt that this person was motivated that she spoke to, but maybe Joe, your other salesperson, doesn't feel that they're motivated. So what the most important thing is making sure you keep track of these 4 KPIs that I'm giving you today, but also that you define them in a very controlled manner. So for me, a lead is anybody that says, yes, I'd like an offer, and yes, I can sell within the next 6 months. That's it. And they have a pulse. Like, that's it. Like, they don't. Now, I don't have motivation in there. I don't have, because motivation is subjective. And sellers don't always tell you their motivation. If you qualify based on motivation, well, think of the sellers that are good negotiators and have poker faces and they don't want to tell you their motivation, and then you threw that lead away. So for me, it's just a simple leads in, a lead being, yes, they'd like to sell. Yes, within 6 months, that's it. And then from there, we make offers to as many people as we can get back on the phone to make offers to. We don't qualify them in any sort of way, like to disqualify them. Let's just say the word, I don't disqualify them. Everybody gets an offer that wants to hear it.
Yep.
So that's a little bit about our process. And I think that if wholesalers stuck with that, it would really improve their sales dramatically.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. So yeah, those are the 4 we keep track of. And then the last one for motivation is revenues. We just have an Excel spreadsheet that goes across. And then the last one we fill in with when it closes, deals closed, we put in, revenue. So that's just for motivation on the KPI sheet.
Right.
But yeah, that's exactly what it is. And guys, what she was saying about defining the KPIs is so important, and because there's so many people on YouTube and Facebook and everywhere, and this industry is getting blown up. A lot of people are giving information and advice, but you can't take one person's definition of a lead and compare it to the next. You need to make sure you have your definition and follow your KPIs. And what your KPI says, it takes 5 leads to get a deal, to get $10,000 fee, whatever that is, you should be comparing to your own deals, and then tracking your business as it grows or shrinks and follow it that way. Don't try to compare to people across the country or even in your local market, for that matter. That's how you judge the health of your business. And I think that's what Lauren was doing to figure out that her business was having some issues, or at least contracting a little bit. And so she looked outside of her local market. And you mentioned, so I want to touch on it, networking. I'm a big believer in networking. Obviously, that's why we created a networking and education group, right? So my previous background career was in hospitality, and networking is it's in my blood. And I feel like it's gotten me leaps and bounds over where I was in my business. And so I would just want to ask you, how did that help you when you were looking around, or when you were building your business? How did the networking play into that?
I would not be here if it wasn't for networking. I've definitely paid for my education, but I've also received education just from being friends with people. I made it a very regular practice when I first got started, and it's still a practice to this day, where I get on the phone and talk to experienced investors all the time. And I just ask them, what's working for you? What's not working? And, it's just a conversation. You'd be surprised how much just jumping on a call and talking to another investor and just kind of, sharing stories, what that would do for you. It's very important. So for me, especially going virtual, it was quite the task. I didn't know anybody in, these territories. So every territory I go in, we have to reestablish a network. And, that's not always super easy, but it's very important.
Yep. So that's I asked that question because I was going to ask this other question, but I thought this would lead into it, and you did perfectly. So, what are those partners, strategic partners in? You started, in California, and you made it all the way to Nashville. How far east did you come? Was that the farthest east?
Yeah. So I went to Nashville. Yeah, that's probably the furthest I've gone.
Okay, you're close to us. It's not that, but it's close. So, but
I
you're
got
really
family
far
out by
away.
you guys.
So you're really far away. So what are those strategic partners that you had to put in place to create a business in a city far away? And in turn, what are those strategic partners that you need if you were to create a business in your own hometown?
Right. So I think that the number one strategic partner that you need, whether you're going virtual or you're new in your hometown, so new as an investor in your hometown, is a joint venture partner. I think going at it alone is a mistake that I made early on. I did my first couple flips with my brother. Had I done them myself, oh my goodness, like I don't even know. But I still think that I would have benefited by doing my first 5 to 10 deals with a high volume house flipper in Southern California. I think I would be way more successful had I done that. What I did is I just did a couple with my brother and then went out on my own because I'm like, I can do this myself. So I really believe in joint venture partnerships. An example would be, so say I decided I wanted to start marketing in Colombia. So Andrew, I'm not sure, are you a wholesaler yourself?
Yeah, we wholesale, flip, and hold rentals. So we started in rental property.
So the first thing I would do if I was going to start in Colombia is I would give you a call and I would say, hey, if I get a contract, would you want to work this with me? I'll do all the acquisitions. I will literally bring it to you when it's signed. You won't have to do anything else other than that. I might need to borrow you for an hour so you can maybe help me on pricing because I kind of need to know, what is the temperament of the end buyer, like what kind of discounts do they want? But other than that, you will get a contract signed and all you need to do is show your buyers list this contract, market it, walk the buyers in, be the boots on ground because I can't be there. I'm in California and we'll split it. And that's the first person that I would secure when I go to a new virtual market. From there, we would probably do a few deals together, and I would get comfortable. And from there, I would learn like the title companies. I would learn any nuances that apply to Colombia. I would probably start learning what buyers are out there. And I would be very upfront with you that eventually I'm probably going to go out on my own and I'm probably going to build a buyer's list and I might not need you forever. And I hope you understand that, but this might be good for 5 deals.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how I would go about it. And that's exactly what we do.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've got a comment here from Freddy's. So Disposition on Demand, they are a sponsor. So I'll give you a shout out, Freddy's, that's their main goal is JVing to find those buyers that are hard to find, and Freddy's is good at it. So
I actually saw that. What territories are they in?
Freddy's is working. Freddy's, you can comment, but I think he's down in Louisiana. He sold some things. Did you sell? I think he sold one in New Jersey, but he is able to pull these buyers from all over the place. But he's got an incredible knack for it. But primarily here in South Carolina, he's really racking it up,
Awesome.
doing a fantastic job. So, but you know what? Anybody in this group, most of the people at least, are willing to share and to help. I just had a conversation this morning with somebody new to wholesaling, had a couple deals under contract, and to JV with them, and we went over it, we talked about it, and I gave him exactly what you said is I'm able to tell him, this price may not work, try to get this price.
Right.
I've got, I've already got buyers I know would buy for this, that sort of thing. A lot of that will help when you're new in a new market or in your own backyard is getting to know those and kind of just you take that experience instead of you learning it for 30 days that you can't sell something. You learn it right away and you maybe get a deal because you had somebody on the front end. Right. And then, of course, like you said, title companies, all the nuances in the local laws or whatever. You just skip all that learning when you find a great JV partner. So that's awesome. Yeah, Freddie said nationwide. Yeah, he'll find them for you. If you need to sell something that's hard to sell, he'll find you a buyer. But that's the first strategic partner. Is there anybody else that you normally get in market besides that JV partner?
So along with a JV partner, I like to have, and I call this person a runner. And a runner for me, my favorite like avatar of a runner would be that they also happen to be a realtor.
Yep.
So I love like the newer realtor that is kind of starting out, doesn't have a big book of business, so they need to make some money on the side. So I offer them, hey, I'll pay you $20 an hour if you can run some property related errands for me. That could be that I have them run to the house. Once we get the house under contract, they take photos, they talk to sellers, the sellers that we're working with, they kind of introduce themselves as, oh, I work with Lauren. They put lock boxes on homes. They walk buyers. Now this is when I get where I don't need a JV partner anymore, when this runner becomes so trained and my buyers list is now, at a level where I don't need a JV partner anymore and I can do it on my own. I have my runner take place of the JV partner. And now I'm not splitting my deals 50-50. Now I'm just paying about $20 an hour, which honestly on an average deal ends up being like $150 or something. So it's a beautiful thing when you get to that point.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you've got that again. If you get that right realtor, you're still gaining some local knowledge and some information that you wouldn't normally have starting out.
And the reason I like to get a realtor is there's an ethical standard that, they're held to, and they don't want to lose their license. So it's nice to feel, that there's that layer of protection.
That's true. Very true. So, so Kimberly said she did get the contract we talked about for her when I was trying to give her some price guidance on that. So congrats, Kimberly. Now let's go sell it. So that's awesome. And guys, the virtual model is so important right now because of COVID. Like it just makes perfect sense. Why haven't we all been virtual and living, working from our bedrooms and having runners even in our local backyard? Because we didn't know this would happen where, COVID would get us locked down. Right. So this is so crucial. And at this time as well, when you look at our market, Lauren, you saw the trend graph of days on market and the prices going up. It's obviously not like Orange County, but when markets start getting better nationwide, people are going to start looking to find that better market. What's better than my market that's close? Where can I go to get better ROI?
Right.
What were some of the things that you looked for when you were shopping for a market?
So there's a lot to look for. And I would say that, like, I want to put myself in your guys' shoes, being that I just looked at your guys' reports and I kind of see what direction your Columbia is going in. So the first thing that I saw when you pulled those reports up is it looks like it's going to get harder for you guys to get a deal. Sellers are not as motivated. There is a lot of demand for homes. There is a decrease in inventory. Given all the crazy things that are going out in the world right now, those graphs show a very healthy real estate market. Now, however long this is going to last or what this is about, I mean, this could also be that interest rates have dropped dramatically. This would also be that the supply, people are not listing, people that don't have to sell are kind of pulling their house off the market right now. So there's a lot of other factors going on in there. But that being said, if we weren't in a COVID situation and I saw those graphs, I would go, yeah, this looks like it's going to get harder and harder to get a deal here in Columbia. So you would want to look for an area where it's just more balanced. Balance is very important. So like Orange County, not balanced at all. The average house price is $750,000. I mean, that's crazy. You would want to go in an area where the house prices are a little bit lower. I think that that's the easiest thing for people to, find is average house price, because you could just Google that. You can find it on Zillow. It's a very easy number to find. My sweet spot is between 150,000 to about 250,000 average house price in the county. I just love that price bracket right there. I think that that's a great price bracket. The rent to price is usually really good in that type of, in that playing field. So that's where I prefer to stay. I don't, and I didn't look, what are the average house prices in Columbia?
It's about that.
About that.
I could.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
we'll Google it.
I think that, I mean, obviously, COVID has put us in such an interesting and unique situation. So I think that that's why, your graphs look the way they do. But I think that Columbia seems like a great area, to be an operator in.
Yeah, I agree. But and like you said, it will get a little tougher. So we need to be looking out for balance, which Columbia has some good balance at the moment.
Right.
Which is nice. So, but you guys pay attention to that. So I did have a question in here. I wanted to bring it up. What is your best lead source, and have you found that it might vary per market?
So my personal best, I love text blasting right now. I just love it. I think it's easy. I think it's cheap. I hate cold calling. I hate managing cold calling centers and cold callers. So I prefer texting from a management standpoint, from a cost standpoint. It's getting a lot of deals. So that's my favorite right now. I like passive ways of getting leads, Facebook ads. I haven't tried radio, but I think radio sounds like a great idea. Anything where people are calling me. I do think, I guess you could say it's market specific maybe, but honestly, I haven't seen that personally. I haven't seen it personally. I've seen everybody that's tried texting says they like texting better than cold calling. And I haven't seen anyone say, oh, well, in my market, cold calling works better. I don't know how you would measure that, to be honest.
Yeah, that would be kind of difficult, I think, to compare.
It's because it's a key indicator definition question of like, well, then what are we comparing? We're comparing apples and oranges, honestly.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, I appreciate that. So what markets are you in right now?
So I am heavily in two markets in Oklahoma, Tulsa and Oklahoma City. Okay. Those are the two I'm in right now.
Awesome. And what's your deal? Like, what's your month look like? Are you doing 2 deals, 5 deals, 10 deals? What's that look like?
We do anywhere from 5 to 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So that's kind of, that's a good chunk. Like, that's a good business. It's a good, healthy business. And I wanted to ask that to kind of segue into a little bit about you and how did you decide this was the business you were going to do, knowing that you've got a family, you've got kids? Like, how are you managing that as a wholesaler in different markets?
So is the question, how did I decide being an investor in general or just getting into volume wholesaling?
Yeah, well, I think maybe just 2 questions. Like, how, I asked that because it was a big decision for us with kids, and knowing that you're in your own business, right? You're running your own business. We have a lot of people in REI Live that have young kids or not kids yet, and they wonder, is this something I can do, knowing and support my family? And then the next question, I guess why would you do volume wholesaling?
For sure. So yeah, because there are two different answers. So when I first got started 8 years ago, I had a 1-year-old and a baby on the way. I learned very quickly when I had my first daughter that being a corporate mom was very difficult. At the time I was married, I'm not married anymore, but at the time, both my ex-husband and I were working full-time corporate life. We never saw our daughter. She was shoved into daycare all day long. I think I saw her about an hour and a half a day before she had to go to bed. It was no way to live. So I was willing to do anything to have freedom of time. So it just so happened that my brother suggested, well, why don't you try flipping houses? I flipped a couple houses and, I think I'm going to keep going with it. It was just like a real simple suggestion that kind of snowballed into the next week researched everything I could on flipping houses. I got a hold of some free education that my brother, he let me, this is back when it used to come in CDs. He let me like these CDs.
Yeah.
And I discovered Bigger Pockets and listened to every podcast I could. And I, within a week, said, okay, this is it. If I can work from home and all I have to do is maybe flip 1 or 2 houses a year, like to just make, like I had it so dialed in of what my salary was minus daycare. And then like my, you know, I would get my ex-husband's benefits, you know, like, I mean, I had like this number in my head of, I just need to replace this income. And then it would make sense for me to stay at home and I'll flip houses by myself. At that time, I was dreaming so small. I think the amount was literally $36,000 a year. Like, I think I came up with, I just have to make $36,000 a year. And I kind of thought, well, that's like maybe flipping 2 houses that I split with my brother. So I did that my first year while working my full-time job. So I had my salary saved. And at that point, when I had my second daughter, she was born, I quit and I went full-time. Now the rest is a long story and a roller coaster. I intended on being a house flipper. I intended on being, you know, I loved it. I loved the creative freedom I had. It was very, very fun to do deals here in California, but it, you know, the deals dried up and I had to figure it out. I had to make this business work. Otherwise I was going to have to get a job. And that was my worst nightmare and still is. So in the end, I ended up getting into, you know, virtual. I tried flipping virtually. Contractors took advantage of me left and right because I wasn't local. So wholesaling was the way to go because it eliminated that contractor stress. So, you know, yes, I do wholesaling. I would say I don't get as rewarded, like, because I don't get to, you know, flip homes. I love flipping houses. I love doing all that stuff. I love the design and everything. It was so fun. I don't get that. But hey, I cash checks. I get to pick up my kids from school. I still get to have that time freedom. And for me, that's number one.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's I'm glad you brought up that thinking small because very similar story. Obviously, most of you guys know we got the young kids, but our goal when our oldest went to first grade or kindergarten, I guess public school, was to get my wife. We just wanted to have enough rental property income to replace her salary. And I literally took her salary, took out the taxes because we knew we would, you know, we'd have depreciation on taxes, took out the daycare, took out the lunch. I mean, we were down to the penny.
Yep.
And then really we found wholesaling and said, why are we thinking so tiny?
Right. It just leads, right?
It rolled right in. So real estate in general, amazing business, amazing place to be. If you guys are watching this, you probably either know that or you think that at least. So I'm here to tell you it's true. There's a lot of freedom, time freedom, you know, freedom to be creative when you flip houses or whatever. So just all around, hands down, real estate investing is the way to go. If you can get started early, get started. If not, just get started now. So Lauren, we are getting low on time. So we're getting towards the end. I want to give you an opportunity, and I've got your Instagram. I think you do Instagram the most, right? You have a YouTube page too.
I do Instagram the most. So it's This Mom Flips is my Instagram handle. And then I do have a YouTube channel. If you look up on YouTube, look up This Mom Flips. I have a ton of free content, free videos, tutorials, all sorts of good stuff up there.
So I've just put that, I'm putting that in the notes for everybody. This Mom Flips. So I want them to follow you on Instagram and then check out your YouTube page as well. And probably don't reach out to her on Facebook because she never checks Facebook, but that's okay.
Oh yeah, it's crazy over there. I don't know what's going on in Facebook land. It's crazy.
Yeah, the changed platform like a month ago, but she just saw it today, guys. So
yeah, don't check my Facebook.
On Instagram. But I want to give you an opportunity to throw out anything you want to leave us with. We do have, again, some people just getting started and some experienced folks. So what do you want to leave with? And if you could tell those new people just one bit of advice for getting started.
Oh, gosh, I always hate when they say that because I never think of what I want to leave people with. I always get super like as if I'm dying or something. And last words better.
You're welcome.
Yeah, my last words better be very meaningful to you all. But you know, I actually just had a podcast episode drop. I'm also a podcast host on Wholesaling Inc. And this last podcast, it dropped yesterday, and it was very geared to newer people. It's basically talking about when, like me giving you permission to quit and when I give you permission to quit. So if you are new, I want to let you guys know that my average, let's talk about KPIs. Another one I like, it's not a big deal, but I keep track of is contract to closing when I get paid, or contact when the seller comes in to when I get paid. Okay. So my average for the year is 97 days. So for everybody who's new, if you guys get frustrated because you haven't made money in 30 days, 60 days, even 90 days, I'm letting you know and I'm giving you permission to keep going, because it takes my company 97 days on average from when a seller lead comes to me that I talk to them for the first time to when I get paid. So you have to imagine, if you're new, it's going to take you a little bit longer because you're learning. So tell yourself mentally, you're not going to make any money for 6 months. Just tell yourself that. If you do, great. It's a welcome surprise, but don't give up just because you haven't.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Lauren. Hey guys, those of you who are watching, obviously this will be up on Facebook and I'll upload the recording as well. If you have more questions, you can continue to write them in the comments and I'll get to them and I can reply, and I will DM them to Lauren so she can get you on
Tag me. I think if you forward it and you tag me, it'll show up on my Facebook, because it's not showing up right now. So you have to, I think you have to like share it with me somehow. Yeah. And then I can comment, and then I can see them, and I'll comment.
I'll make sure you get tagged on there. So guys, I want to thank you all for joining us. Lauren, I know you're going to have to run, so you can jump off at any moment. I do want to thank you so much for coming. Guys, REI Live Columbia, we will do this again in a month, but what we will continue to do is try to get us together live and in person. So we're going to try to get to that in October, like I said. In the meantime, we are going to do a weekly half-hour call for a deal review. So I'm going to put that in the show notes. It will be, or I'll put it in the REI Live group. It's going to be just a Zoom call where you can jump in, and if you have a deal that you need help with, or you're trying to analyze something, you can jump in and we'll do it together. We will just do that for just a couple weeks, just really to get us going into this fourth quarter. I want to give you guys a push, because I know this is the hard time of the year. This is a tough season. We're getting, hard to believe, but holidays around the corner. So we are going to do just this for just a couple of weeks so we can help you get to the end of the year strong. I want to see some good deals coming across, some good flips, some good wholesales, and rental properties. All right. So thank you all for joining. I don't see any new questions or anything like that. Thanks, Emily. Good to see you there. Aubrey, awesome work. Thank you. And guys, what we will do is we'll keep up with you. Join Facebook, REI Live Columbia. If you haven't done it, make sure you join it today so you can keep up and keep track. All right. Thank you all for being here. I'll put my email in there if you need me, but you know how to find me. All right, guys. See ya.